very, very little violence. But it's very unfair to the people that support the people in this room. The people that support us and us, we're not getting fair treatment because it's not our fault. Remember that, okay?
Donald Trump discussing the ongoing tension and violence between protesters and his supporters. Following these outbreaks of violence, it actually appears that a lot of these protesters in reality are paid agitators. According to several reports, and you're seeing footage here from Fountain Hills, Arizona on Saturday, the lead protester stopping traffic there, Jacinta Gonzalez, who put a chain around her neck and affixed herself to a pickup truck. Well, she's not from Arizona, she's from Illinois, a trained community organizer and George Soros fellow. In addition to that information, there is also news that some of the demonstrators even admitted to answering a Craigslist ad, paying $16 an hour to come out and protest. For more on this, let's welcome in retired U.S. Army Colonel and a former Republican candidate for Congress in Virginia's 8th District, Patrick Murray. Patrick's also author of the book, Government is the Problem. Also joining us now, Skyping in from Washington, host of The Agenda on SiriusXM Radio's Progress Channel and a former advisor to Senate Democrat leader Harry Reid, Ari Rabin-Havt. Patrick, we hear about the protests. We also hear about it being kind of like rent a mob or employ an agitator. Is this taking dirty tricks too far?
JD, good evening. Look, I used to live in Moscow when I was in the Army. This is exactly what the communists did there. They hire people, pay them some money, bus them in, put a sign in their hand, and then turn them loose. This is MoveOn.org, Black Lives Matter, the Democrat Party, and the communists in Moscow, no difference.
Well, let me ask you, Ari, it's one thing to come out and peacefully protest. It's another thing to get in the way and stop traffic and try to otherwise disrupt people peaceably assembling. Certainly, you can see the distinction between protest and agitation.
I think it's a very thin distinction. At best, protests are designed to agitate, but I love how you have one candidate, one Republican candidate, and there are 3 left in the race, but only one inspiring this, and we come up with every sort of excuse, and the candidate whines every which way about the fact that his are the only crowds that become violent.
All right,
there's a reason for that, and you can come up with any excuse in the book. You can come up with any conspiracy theory you want about George Soros, the Russian Communist Party, Trotsky's not being dead. And I don't know what else.
Well, now, wait a minute. He was. I'll let the colonel answer for himself, but he was talking about what he saw in Moscow and similarities. This has nothing to do with Bolsheviks versus Mensheviks. You want to say a little more on this, Colonel?
Sure. The straw men are coming out. Look, Trump has a very powerful group of supporters. And I believe if there were another Republican running that we would be seeing similar things. The other side, and it is Soros funded, it is MoveOn.org funded. The fact is they're not interested in free speech. They're interested in shutting down speech with which they do not agree. And that's what we're seeing.
The level of conspiracies about what MoveOn.org is actually really funny. I kind of wish, this comes up every 4 years, and I hear these stories about what Move On is and what Acorn is. If the myths that conservatives build up to what these organizations are were true, holy cow, that would be incredible. You guys.
All right, we'll leave it there. We understand your protest, duly noted. But I tell you what, Ari, I'm going to go to a subject that might intrigue you more. That's what happens within the Republican convention. A lot of intrigue surrounding what may go on in Cleveland. For his part, Newsmax TV political analyst Dick Morris says the Republican rules are wrong and need to change. Look and listen.
Shame on Kasich and on the Republican leaders for trying to exploit the loopholes in those rules. Absolutely, whoever gets the most delegates on the convention floor on the first ballot should get that nomination.
All right, we've got about a minute left, 30 seconds for you both. Let's begin with the Colonel.
JD, look, I agree with Dick, and they're going to rewrite the rules. I just wish that Mitt Romney and some of the other establishment Republicans would have had the same energy against Barack Obama in 2012 that they found now against against Donald Trump in 2016. We might have a completely different political landscape right now.
Ari Rabin-Havt, the last word, your chance to bash the GOP.
I mean, far be it from me to step into a Republican primary. But for once, I do agree with Dick Morris. The person who gets the most votes in delegates should actually be the nominee of both parties. It should be a simple math equation.
Fair enough. Gentlemen, we will have to leave it there. You have our thanks for an invigorating discussion. And we pause right now for an important programming reminder. Tomorrow night, coverage of the primaries in Arizona and Utah, part of Newsmax TV's America Votes 2016. Incisive analysis from our great guests, and I'll be on the anchor desk starting at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. There's more ahead.